Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this workshop, Branding for Musicians. I am Julia, the Pixabay Music Community Manager, and I'm thrilled to have you all with us. So, a little bit about me. I've been a professional musician for the past 10 years. I've been touring and recording drums for different projects here in Spain, and I've also worked in festivals and record labels. And today I'll be your host for this session alongside Miki.
Hello, I am Miki, and I am the illustration community manager at Pixabay. And I am an illustrator and a graphic designer working for individuals and brands. It's nice to meet you all, and I'm excited for today's session.
So, what is Pixabay? Pixabay is all about connection, exposure, and inspiration for creatives. Pixabay is a community of artists sharing their work with a global audience, giving and receiving feedback, upskilling with educational blogs and workshops, and taking part in events and contests. As an artist, you can set up your profile to receive donations or indicate that you are available for hire. And here's the agenda for today's session. So we'll be learning all about branding for musicians, how to create your own visual identity, how to create assets for marketing and promotion, and finally, I'll share some marketing tips for musicians that you can start applying today. So let's get started.
To start off, we will be playing a little game I call Can You Recognize This? The rules are pretty simple. I will show you a photo with a question, and you can write in the chat box what you think the answer is. Okay? So, this is the first photo. This is a Japanese version of an album. Can you recognize which album this is? Okay, so some people mentioned Brat. Some said Ed Sheeran. Some said Green Day. You're right. This is Charlie XCX Brat album distributed in Japan. If you've been on the internet for the past year, you've most definitely seen Brat and Brat's marketing on social media. Um, what made it so effective? I would say it's because it was very accessible, collaborative, and memeable. Because of the Brat generator, where people can make use of the simple design and put their own text, fans also became co creators of the Brat brand. The marketing campaign turned into a collaborative moment. It became so big that not only fans joined in on the fun, but also big brands like Oreo and even NASA jumped on the trend. It goes to show that people want to participate in conversations with people and brands they love. Okay, next. Can you recognize whose hair this is? Billie Eilish. Yeah, you're right. This is Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish uses color to symbolize an era of time. And she commits to this all throughout the duration of this era. So when she introduces a new time, or in this case, a new album, her image completely changes. And this brings her fans on the journey of entering a new era. So, for example, for album one, she had green hair, the iconic green roots. And then for album two, she became totally blonde. And now, album three, she has some sort of a brunette to black hair. So, this is another amazing example of using branding in marketing. Now, let's talk about our first topic, which is branding basics for musicians. Let's first define what the differences are between branding, marketing, and design. So I made a sentence here. You design visual assets that express your brand and use marketing to share those assets with the right people. So first is branding. It addresses who you are. It is how you shape your identity as an artist and your music. So these are your values, your tone, your message, your vibe, and your visual identity. Basically, how people recognize you and what they feel when they see or hear anything connected to you. Marketing, on the other hand, is how you share who you are. So these are the strategies, campaigns, and tools to reach your audience. And finally, design is how it looks. So these are the visuals that express your brand, like colors and fonts. When all of these align, these three branding, marketing, and design, your music feels intentional and it will become more memorable.
Absolutely. Now, let's understand why branding matters for musicians and where is it is applied. So you have to think it this way. People use their ears to listen to your music, but they have previously used their eyes to find about you. So the visual representation of your music is as important nowadays. Let's start with the question. If your music had a visual twin, what would it look like? This alone will help you start imagining how your brand can look like. And I'm not talking about your album cover, not your last promo shot. I'm talking about the visual energy, the concept of your sound. Like, would it be minimal or chaotic, dark or pastel, cinematic or lo fi? This question matters because your brand, visually, emotionally, and creatively, is how the world sees your sound before they even hear it. And when those two things align, music and branding, magic happens. Why? Because there's a coherence between the expectation of the visual idea with how it sounds like, and vice versa. Also, here's an overview of where branding is applied. So we have online and offline. Online would be your social media presence, streaming platforms, music videos, website, all of that. And offline is how branding is applied on your merch, on the decoration of the stage if you are on tour, the promo if you go to a TV show, podcast, the way you show up in those events also matter.
Now let's move on to our hands on activity on creating your own visual identity. Step one is knowing your brand. Who are you as an artist? A clear brand identity helps you define who you are as an artist and makes it easier for the right people to find and connect with you. I have listed some questions here that would help you in determining your identity. Let's look at your music and start with the very basics. What is your genre? Is it indie folk, rock, soul, or pop? Most likely you are already aware of your genre, but if you aren't, some tips on defining your music are to analyze your influences. What artists or brands inspire you? What genres do they fall into? Your influences often reflect your own sound. Another tip would be to focus on your core. So, what are the most consistent elements of your music? Is it a particular instrument, a vocal style, or a rhythmic feel? Sometimes that characterizes your music. But ultimately, while categorization is useful for marketing, don't let it limit your creativity. Some artists intentionally blend different genres or create something unique. Next, what mood do you want to convey? Is it dreamy, nostalgic? Is it romantic? Is it rebellious? Now let's go beyond the music. What are your values as an artist? Is it cultural heritage and pride? Or is it feminism and gender equality? Next is what is your personality? Are you loud, funny, dramatic? And finally, what message do you want to convey? Here are some examples. Celebrate where you came from and find beauty in the weird. Now let's understand your target audience. Who are you trying to reach? As much as we want our music to be listened to by all the people in the world, that doesn't really happen often. So it is important to know your primary audience. First is demographics such as age, location, and gender. Next is psychographics, which includes interests, lifestyle, and beliefs. Some examples are people who journal, thrift, or go to small gigs, listeners who value emotional depth, or listeners who love a specific niche like anime. Next are preferences. What are their listening habits, design taste, and brand loyalty? Are they interested in buying merch? Do they prefer listening to SoundCloud over Spotify? These are some of the questions you can ask yourself to understand your audience. One big tip that you could do is to have a competitive analysis, particularly looking at visuals. Look at other musicians in your genre and see the visual trends. So, for example, let's do a competitive analysis on indie folk. Some key artists are Bon Iver, Noah Khan, and Sufjan Stevens. If we look at visual trends, their album covers have muted and earthy color palettes, like greens, browns, and beiges. It has natural imagery like trees and mountains and grass. Some common textures are soft lighting and film grain, which give a nostalgic and handmade feel. Texts are usually handwritten or uses serif fonts, which makes it look classy or quiet and more human. If there's a portrait, it's often obscured. So faces are turned away or blurred or covered or distant. And it has a minimalistic layout, so there's lots of white spaces. Now, it's important to see the visual trends so that you'll know why some of these stood out and what to avoid if you want to stand out. The overuse of these visuals will only make you blend in among a lot of different works with the same aesthetic. What would you do differently to express your sound and personality? You have to add a twist that reflects your personal story or message. This is why authentic branding is so important.
Perfect. Now we will start the first activity. So please open the Canva template, and on the activity 1 page, you'll have to type 5 words or adjectives that describe your music, sound, and personality. I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes, and then we will continue.
Okay, now that you've understood your brand, the next step is visuals, understanding the role and power of colors. Let's go back to the very basics of colors. We have our three primary colors, which is red, blue, and yellow. If you combine these colors, red and yellow makes orange, yellow and blue makes green, and blue and red makes purple. If we mix these colors together, again, we get more in between shades. So altogether, they form what's called the color wheel. Based on the color wheel, we can create different color harmonies or combinations that are visually pleasing. First, we have monochromatic. The uses a single base hue, like green, and extends using different shades, tones, and tints by changing its saturation and value. The best thing about monochromatic is that they are guaranteed to match and to look good. Next is analogous. These are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, like reds and oranges, or cool colors like blues and greens. Complementary are colors on the opposite side of the color wheel. For example, we have blue and orange, or the classic red and green that is commonly seen during Christmas. Next, we have split complementary. These are colors on either side of the complementary. So it uses three colors and two complementary. For this example, we have red, and red's complementary is green, but for this time, it splits, so it becomes yellow green and blue green. Triadic are three colors that are evenly spaced, forming a triangle, and tetradic forms a square. Aside from knowing what colors look good together, it's also important to know the psychology behind colors. Certain colors carry cultural, historical, and personal meanings and symbolisms. Red is usually for passion, energy, love, anger, and danger. In many Asian countries, red relates to well being and good fortune. So it is important to also know the cultural symbolisms depending on where you're coming from. Blue usually is used for calmness, introspection, peace, and stability. Yellow is for happiness, energy, and adventure. Green is for growth and health, but it could also be about finance and wealth. Violet is for royalty, luxury, and spirituality. And brown is used for being grounded because it is organic and natural. Certain genres lean into specific color palettes. Here are some examples. Punk or hardcore uses black, red, white, and high contrast colors. This symbolizes urgency, rebellion, grit, and anger, which are messages also seen in their songs. Pop, on the other hand, uses a lot of pinks, blues, and purples, and pastels, and high saturated colors. This usually symbolizes fun, energy, and it appeals to a wider audience. much like pop. Another example given earlier, indie folk, uses a lot of earth tones, like forest greens and warm browns, which mirror the natural, grounded, warm, and nostalgic feelings of their songs. It's important to find color themes among artists in the same genre and then ask, how can I stay in that lane but add a twist that's uniquely mine?
Please go to the activity 2 page of your Canva presentation and choose a color palette that reflects your brand essence from activity 1. I'll set a timer and I'll give you all 5 minutes. So let's move on into typography. So step 3.
Aside from colors, typography is also important. Let's take a look into it. We have four common types of fonts, and like colors, they also give off different meanings and connotations, which also means it is used in different trends in music. The first is called serif. These are fonts with small feet or strokes at the end of the letters. This usually gives off a classic, elegant vibe, which is often associated with emotional storytelling. Some examples are Times New Roman and Georgia. It is also used in folk, acoustic, classical, or jazz. Taylor Swift's folklore album uses a serif font. Next, we have sans serif. This is a simple and modern version of serif. They don't have decorative strokes and it is clean and minimalist. Some common examples are we have Arial and Helvetica fonts, and it is usually used for pop, which but I think it is also most definitely used for social media because it is digital and pretty easy to read. Next, we have script. These are types of fonts that mimic handwriting or cursive styles. So these could be calligraphies or casual writings. It's mostly known for being romantic, personal, vintage, and feminine. So it is used for R&B, indie, or soul. Finally, we have display fonts. These are highly stylized fonts that are designed to grab your attention and make an impact. So these are bold, creative, and unconventional. Most are custom made. These are usually seen in album covers and posters, definitely not used for long form text because it is harder to read and it most likely takes up a lot of space because it is big. This artist is his name is Andre, is both a musician and a designer. So he releases his own music, but he also creates typography for other artists. He was the one who designed what you're seeing on the slide. Very well known artist. Each font is unique to its own brand. I'm showing this because not a lot of people are aware that typographers, or some might call typographists, people who are good with type designs, they exist. It seems like an easy job, but it takes a lot of research and truly understanding the artist, their music, their vibe, and their message. Okay, so here are some tips on how to use fonts. We have a principle of design called hierarchy, which is important in understanding what information in, let's say, a poster is more important than the other texts. So this makes use of different but balanced font sizes, font weights, and styles to emphasize information. Like I said earlier, you could use display font for the title of the album, but the other text could be written in a smaller sans serif font. So this uses the principle of design called hierarchy. It is also important to limit your choices of fonts. Sometimes being simple is best, and only 2 to 3 complementary fonts are good for consistency. Finally, there are a lot of free tools and websites out there that make open sourced and commercial fonts more accessible. So if you're just starting out and you don't really have a big budget, this works as well.
Amazing. All right, so now let's apply everything we've learned so far into activity number 3. So please go to page number 3 of your Canva presentation. Choose 2 fonts that relate to your brand essence from activity 1 and make it look like in the example. So basically, you will have to choose a main font and a secondary font. I'm gonna set the timer and give you all 3 minutes to complete this activity. And let's start.
Now that we know how colors and fonts work, what's missing is the main image. Choosing the right imagery is important, whether it's a photograph or an illustration. One of the first steps in doing that is creating a mood board. A mood board is a visual collage made up of references that represent your brand's look and feel. It clarifies your direction and keeps your brand consistent. It also helps you communicate your vibe and vision to the people you work with, like, let's say, for photographers, videographers, designers, or your stylist. It is the clearest way to show what you want. Mood boards usually consist of your main color palette, textures you want to include, like smooth, grainy, rough, dreamy, typography, photo style. Is it moody? Is it candid? And other visual elements like patterns, props, fashion, lighting, etc. Here are some free tools to help you make your mood board. We have Pixabay, which obviously provides high quality free stock media that includes photos, videos, illustrations, animations, 3D, and even music. We also have Canva, where you can build your mood board. It has many free templates to choose from, which is helpful if you don't know where to start. These are free, which is a great asset for creatives like us. Here is an example of a mood board. We can see the colors, the type of font pairing, fashion clothing and accessories, environment or setting, and some props and decorations.
All right, perfect. Now we're going to do activity number 4, which is the last one. So this is very important. Based on the previous activities, we have to create now a mood board using Canva and Pixabay. So first of all, you have to collate images and illustrations from Pixabay and Canva that will serve as inspiration or reference to your brand as an artist. Then upload the photos in Canva and arrange it all on the activity 4 page as a mood board, as Miki now showed us how to. Then some things to consider, like the color palette, the outfit, lighting, symbolism, background, all of that. And please don't forget to write your name at the bottom.
Okay, time is up. So now we'll be having a little show and tell. We prepared a whiteboard for this activity. Okay, so I'll call on some people now. Okay, let's have a look. Um, we could have Lala. Is Lala here? Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Lara from Japan, no, Kyoto.
Oh, hi.
I can't speak in English very well. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Um, can you maybe just say the 5 words that you
Mhm.
wrote for activity 1?
Ah, 5 word. Okay. There is this. One cozy, healing voice, pop, and warm, and so cute.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your mood board with us, Lala. And thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
today.
Thank
It's so late
you.
already.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, can we hear on Matthias?
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Hi, Matthias here from Germany. Hi. Um, what to say about my mood board? Is this on the one side, deep colors like this, petrol and dark water and dark, but I also like some very bright colors. A little bright blue is here in. Okay, I'm not so calm with Canva, it's new for me. And this bright orange, and it's for example, the image with the mountains is so open and free, and this both is the deep and the dark, and but also the very bright thing. And this, I think, yeah, this was the idea. And just mood things. It's about mood.
Mhm.
Yeah. Can I hear your 5 words that you wrote in your activity
Yeah.
1?
Okay.
Yeah.
This is first is not common. Kind of introspective, colorful. Even it's not so colorful this mood, but for me it's apply colorful for me. A
Yeah.
certain sense of beauty and always free and open. This is important for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can see it from your mood board. Okay.
Oh,
Thank you
cool.
so much. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for sharing.
Thank you.
Let's have. Ooh, we have a new one
Ah,
coming from Alexis.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi
It took
there.
me a minute to get it together, but I'm still not done. But this is what I have so far.
I love it. Can you
Thank
share?
you.
Can you introduce yourself and share the 5 words you wrote from activity 1?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm Alexis. I'm Alexis Coakley. I go by Alexis though. My 5 words were ethereal, soulful, healing, southern, and uplifting. And this is what I came up with using Pinterest.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. All of those words. Do you want to share a little something about the mood board?
I'm sorry, you said something about the mood board?
Mood board? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess first of all, thank you for putting this together because this really just gave me a lot of clarity doing this. It just kind of put a map out for where I'm going with my artistry. I really needed to sit down and do this, so thank you. This is awesome.
Thank you also for
Um,
coming.
of course, thank you for having me. This is my vision. I'm just kind of starting out as taking myself serious as an artist. So this is everything, all the visions that were coming to me while we were in this meeting. I inspired by like Dolly Parton over here, and I want to see myself on billboards. Like, I think I was afraid to be huge, but I want to be as huge as I'm supposed to be. So this is just my reminder of that.
Super inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love it. I really love it. Even the colors, just looking at it from afar, it works together visually. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Should we have one last?
Yeah.
Valeria.
Valeria says in the chat that she doesn't have a mic, but she will explain it here. Yeah, that's okay. So I'm not a musician, so I did it for my little brand or to represent myself as an artist. I create art mixing analog and digital tools. I love creating cyanotypes. So blue is an important color. I've always feel connected to that color, so it represents me also. I try to represent that nostalgic feeling with my art and that you can also feel kind of hopeful at the same time. Wow, that's super
Thank you
beautiful.
so much, Valeria.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is a beautifully curated mood board.
very clean, right? Also, like you can
Yeah.
tell composition.
Yeah, and I can see what she was trying to say with what she wrote in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing. So now let's go ahead and continue.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for adding yours. We will make sure to review all of them. But yeah, it was super inspiring.
Okay. So, our next topic is asset creation. After knowing your brand and visual identity, you have to apply that to your assets. What are the common assets used in the music industry? First, we have our logo and work mark. A logo is a symbol or icon that represents you, and a word mark is your artist name styled in a unique font. Both of these need to be unique so that they leave an impact. Next, we have album art or single cover. This is usually the first visual people see, especially on streaming platforms, so it should reflect the concept of your music. We also have live performance visuals. This includes stage visuals, and they extend your brand into the real world, closer to your audience in a physical sense. Next, we have social media. We're talking about profile picture, banners, headers, feed aesthetic, story, reel branding, and templates for posts. I put here some K pop groups as examples. They are known for making use of the Instagram grid layout to create a big poster like image. So they make use of all of the grid. And next we have marketing and promotional materials, which are your posters, flyers, event invites, press kits, and digital ads. And finally, we have merchandise like t-shirts and stickers. Even these should match to your brand because when your fans wear it outside, it's like they are marketing for you. It's like free marketing of your brand.
Amazing. Thank you, Miki. Thank you so much for all these tips and explaining it all so well. And I'm sure that everyone is learning a lot. I wanted to do a quick reminder here. So yeah, just make sure that if you want professional and free tools to get it started in asset creation, branding, and design, everything that we have been exploring so far, we highly recommend both Pixabay and Canva. Just remember that Pixabay provides high quality free stock media, and Canva has many free templates to choose from, which is helpful if you don't know where to start. And it can be actually the only tool you'll need for everything related to branding, design, and marketing. So yeah, just feel free to give it a try. And yeah, now we will jump right into the final part of this workshop, which is marketing tips for musicians. We've learned all about branding, and with all the activities that you have completed, we are ready to dive into some marketing tips. Here, we will talk briefly about marketing funnels adapted for music careers, how to be consistent with your branding across different channels and assets, as Miki just explained to us, how to get your followers to engage. This is very important. And finally, we will also share some smart social media usage and promo hacks. All right, so this is a funnel. In marketing, the term funnel is used to describe how you get people's attention and how you end up monetizing it. In the case of music, I like to separate the funnel in 3 steps. First, we have discovery, then engagement, and finally, retention. Discovery lets us build awareness and target passive followers. How does that happen? Well, because majority of people will find you via social media profiles or streaming platforms. Some percentage of those people will convert into your audience. Basically, your audience is built by interested followers and passive fans. Some engage more than others, but there's still an interest by both main groups. This is when people start following, liking, streaming, and sharing your content. From there, you convert some percentage of your audience into fans, right? So we've gone from discovery to engagement, and now from engagement to retention. So fans are people who have literally spent money to support you and your art. To get people to this stage, you need to build some sense of belonging, a kind of exclusive community so that fans can support you. It can be through them buying merch or attending to your concerts, or by having access to an exclusive and more private community with other fans. It's highly encouraged to have a mailing list with your most engaged fans to ensure that if you ever want to take some time offline social media or something were to happen, or you want to have a strategic move, you still have access to communicate and inform your fans about your music, touring, etc. So to recap, first, you need a platform or several platforms to reach a large number of people. Second, you need a way to reconnect with the people you reach and those that show interest in you and your music. And third, you need a way to let fans take action to support your career. So that means maybe having a website with a store so they can buy your merch, or making sure that they know where they can go and see you live so they can buy tickets and you can go on tour, for example. Next step, how do you optimize your social media profiles and streaming platform in alignment with your goals and branding? So first of all, everything has to follow an aesthetic that has been developed previously when we were doing all these branding exercises. Your visuals must reflect your sound and vibe they create. Make sure that all your profiles on different social media accounts and streaming platforms contain key promo images, consistent keywords that promote your sound, and links to each other platforms to keep the fan looped in your online presence. Here's an example of how you can have a clear artist profile on Instagram, but this can be applied in any other social and streaming platforms. So we can see here that maybe you want to have a verified account. You also want to have a short optimized bio so that people can understand who you are, what you do, just in a matter of 2 seconds. Then maybe you want to link the website with more info. Maybe you want to have a community for special drops and messages. You can also highlight content for each pillar of your project. So maybe like music releases, live on tour, something more personal like thoughts, and then sharing albums. You can highlight all of that. And also you can pin posts. We're going to talk about how you can get followers to engage. So here are some call to actions for musicians. Call to action is when you ask someone to do something for you. But when it comes to music, how does that look like? So first, I want to talk about indirect marketing. Basically, it is a strategy that promotes an artist's music and brand without directly selling it. Instead of pushing for streams or ticket sales, it focuses on engaging audiences through compelling narratives, community building, and value-driven content. Why it works? Well, audiences are already bombarded with direct sales pitch, and through this, who likes to feel sold, right? Instead, emotional and engaging content stands out. Fans connect more deeply with artists who share personal stories, struggles, and behind-the-scenes insights than those who simply say, "Receive my next single," and doesn't build a connection beyond that petition. So it's important to build long-term relationships with your audience, as that will lead to a higher loyalty and organic word of mouth. So we have some examples to feel like orders, right? But the one in the middle is authentic, it's vulnerable, it's providing context and inviting you to connect. So next time you're promoting new music, feel free to express yourself, share your reasons why others could also care about it. Now, how can you apply all of these to your own branding? Here are the 3 ultimate tips to do this. First of all, define your narrative. Before releasing music, ask yourself, what emotions do I want my audience to associate with me? How can I connect with my audience? What makes me special? What real life experiences or themes will define my brand's storytelling? Take your time to think about these and answer these questions with intention. Then, we will use social media as a storytelling tool. You do this by sharing behind the scenes content and documenting your career, by building anticipation by revealing content in pieces rather than all at once. Also, you can engage audiences through interactive storytelling like polls, scripted messages here and there. So, for example, to promote her last album, Billie Eilish added her entire audience to her Instagram close friends. This simple move sparked a viral sense of exclusivity and belonging, leading to over 7 million new followers in 2 days only. And I know that you might be thinking, all right, Billie Eilish is like one of the most popular artists right now, but still this proved that even the biggest ones, they are thinking about indirect marketing and these strategic creative moves to get their audiences to engage, to feel like they belong and participate in their careers, and also to grow organically. She didn't spend money on marketing in that sense. She only did that move and that sparked an effect. All right. So think how you could apply some of these different strategies, direct marketing in your career. And finally, the 3rd tip is to focus on building culture, not just a fan base. If you create a sense of identity that fans can adopt, you're giving them something to belong to, whether it's a movement, an inside joke, or a shared cause. By letting your fans be personally involved in your journey, you are more likely to have a sustainable career over time. So remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint. You can take your time. And lastly, this is a surprise. They have prepared music branding starter kit that dives deeper in all of the different points that we have shared so that you can read it at your own pace and improve your branding. And thank you so much for joining us. We will upload this webinar on YouTube so you can watch it again or share it with others. Also, we have more upcoming free workshops and webinars. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those, don't forget to join Pixabay today. It's totally free, so you can try it for yourself and connect with other artists. Also, we'll share the music branding starter kit via email, but for those that want to take a look at it right now, you can do so by scanning these QR codes. And that's all for today. We hope you found this workshop helpful and took away some valuable insights. Thank you so much for joining us, and special thanks to Miki for all your knowledge, for sharing everything with us. We look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.